Hi, this is Lady Shell. I'm here to do another Fantasy Grounds character creation tutorial, and this time I'm going to be doing a Paladin. I tried to do this last night, but unfortunately I did not know the Paladin well enough, and I skipped a step, made the video 40 minutes long, so it was a lot of rambling, and I'm going to try and not do the same now. I'm going to name my character Edward. I'm going to plug in my abilities. Oh, let's give him a picture too. Now I know that I'm going to be using an elf for my race, so let's find an elf male. That's female. Come on, where's the males? Here, I'll use this male. Okay. Now, the first step is the abilities. In our abilities, we're going to be using the standard array. You will use these 6 numbers to plug it into your 6 abilities. You can use them in any order. You don't have to use them in this specific order, but you want to put your strongest, your highest numbers in your strongest ability. Now the Paladin's strongest ability is strength, so I'm going to put the 15 in strength. I'm going to put the 14th in charisma because that is the second most important ability, and that is because the Paladin uses charisma to do casting. Third thing is con. I'm going to put my 13 there. I'm going to put my 12 in dex. I'm going to put my 10 in wisdom and my 8 in intelligence. And we'll move on to the next step, which is background. Background, I have decided to do the Noble Knight, so I will drag over Noble Knight and close that. And I've saved the Noble Knight down here because I'm going to be needing it later in the tutorial. Okay, the next thing we're going to be doing is race. As I stated, I am going to be doing an elf, and this particular elf, the subclass is an Eladrin, and the Eladrin subclass that I want to use comes from the Mordenkainen's Tome. So I'm going to leave this open so that only the Mordenkainen's Tome is visible. I'm going to move the elf over here. I'm going to close that. I'm going to pick Eladrin. Check. We are done. Now we're ready for our class. And I'm going to go from the player's handbook, grab the Paladin, move it over here, close this, and it's asking me to pick 2 skills. Now, with my background and my race, I got some skills that were already proficient, such as the history, the perception, and the persuasion. So I do not want to pick them again because that would be a wasted pick. But I'm going to pick athletics because that's based on strength. My strength is my highest ability. And I'm going to get insight because that's always helpful. And I'll click OK. And I am done with these skills. Now, I want to level my character up to level 3. And to do this, we will open the hourglass. And I'm going to drag off and on, off and on. You notice that I didn't just change the number up here to 3, and that's because this is the proper way to level your character. Now I have to select a specialization. Now, you may wonder why I picked Eladrin. I picked Eladrin because I spoke to Layron last night and I asked him, what do you think I should use for my race when I make my Paladin? And he suggested Eladrin. He also suggested Oath of the Crown. So I'm making this for him. There you go, Oath of the Crown. And again, all the things that were added to my sheet are on in the chat window. And if you look over here, here's the things that I'm proficient in. And we'll go to the abilities next. And I know that there is one more thing that I'm proficient in. That is the gaming set. So I need, because this isn't part of the normal Paladin inventory, this is separate. I'm going to grab the gaming set individually and move it over to my inventory. And the gaming set that I want to do is the chest set. And I'm going to just drag over the dragon chest. And I also want to drag over potion of healing. Actually would like 2 of them. So let me just put 2. Okay. I can close this. Now, because I'm proficient in this dragon chest set, I'm going to add that to my skills tab. And to do that, anytime that you have a proficiency in a separate item that is not already on the sheet, you're going to want to edit your sheet by clicking the edit button, scrolling to the top, and see this little green plus. I'm going to click the plus and it gives me a blank line. I'm going to add chest set. No, actually, you know what I'm going to call it? Just gaming. Gaming set. I believe that's the wording they use. Whoops. Gaming, yeah, it's called a gaming set. So I'm putting gaming set. Before I leave this little area where name is, if I leave this area with my cursor, it's going to alphabetize this and put this down here. I'm going to click my proficiency. As you see that when I went off there, it did alphabetize it, but I want to do that so that I make sure that I am proficient. And this gaming set is chess, and I think chess requires intelligence. Okay, now I'm going to click the edit again to make this all shields again, and we are now proficient in gaming set 2. So if for some reason in my game I need to play the chess set, I'm proficient in it, and if I had to run a skill check about it, I would be proficient. Okay, back to the abilities. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these features and traits. I'm going to open the little tabs for each one because some of these are going to be used on my actions tab. And I'm going to open up the ones that I need that I know that I'm going to be adding. This one, I'm going to be adding this champion challenge and turn the tide. The divine health is another class feature. Divine sense, another class feature. These are spells, but I'm going to be putting them in a section on my actions tab called class features because they are all features of my class. Okay, divine smite, fighting style. Now, fighting style, I've decided that I would like to do protection fighting style. So while I'm still on this tab, I'm going to go in fighting style and I'm going to put parentheses and I'm going to put protection. That way, if the DM has to look at my sheet for any reason and they want to know which fighting style that I have chosen, they can see very easily that I've chosen the protection. And since I know I do need to, I'm going to need to add it to my sheet. So I'm going to leave that open. And lay on hands, another feature class. Oath of the Crown. This is my what I picked at 3rd level, and this just talks about the tenets. This is what I believe. So this is nothing that I'm going to need to code or add to my sheet. It's just information. But these spells I will need to add, and they will go in with my class features. Because at these specific levels, I'm getting 2 additional spells because of being the Oath of the Crown, in addition to the spells that I get just for being a paladin. Position of privilege is a role-playing thing. Talks about how people think the best of you because of your noble background. Retainers just says that you get 3 retainers that are loyal to your family. Again, that is a role-playing thing, not a coding thing. And finally, spellcasting just talks about using the spell slots, preparing the list, and you get a charisma modifier plus half of your paladin level, rounded down. Spells must be of a level for which you have a spell slot. For example, 5th level paladin, you have 4 first level spells, 2 second level spells. With a charisma of 14, your list of prepared spells can include 4 spells. This is if you were level 5. This doesn't apply because we are not level 5, we are level 3. So I'm not going to open that because you'll see when I add my spells, I'm going to be using Rob Tui's spell effects coding. I'm also going to be using his race effects coding and his class effects coding. And the next thing that I do after I leave this tab is going to be adding the inventory. And when I add that, I'm going to be using his background and class feature bundle for adding your inventory. Okay, now we're on to our traits. These are traits that I get because I'm an elf. And it says, I have proficiency with long sword, short bow, and long bow. I have to always say those very carefully because they're a little tongue twister for me. Okay, so down here under weapons, I'm going to add those 4 weapons. That means that if I added it to my inventory, because I'm an elf, I am proficient in them. If I was not, then I think I might have a disadvantage on using them. Okay, so we have the elf training. Another trait we get is Fey Ancestry. This is an effect. And Fey Step. This talks about that you can cast Misty Step once using this trait, and you regain the ability to do so when you finish a short or long rest. I'm going to keep that open, but when I drag the spell onto my sheet, I'm going to drag the Misty Step spell, not the Fey Step trait. But I am going to put this in my racial traits section because it is an effect that I get because of the racial choice of being an elf. This I've already got on my sheet. It says that I'm proficient in perception, and trance is just a role-playing thing. Just says that elves do not have to sleep. They go into trance for 4 hours instead. Okay, so these are things I'm going to be adding to my actions tab. But the next step is our inventory. We already have these 2 items already in our inventory. But to get the inventory using the Rob Tui module, I'm going to open up the parcels. I'm going to open up the module that I am using, which is 5e background and class equipment bundle. And the way that you use this is I had Noble Knight. So all I do is scroll down to Noble Knight on this list, grab the shield, drag over, and it instantly puts everything that the Noble Knight receives. Then you go down to your class, and I'm going to drag Paladin over, and our inventory is finished. The only thing left to do is to set up my backpack. I'm going to put the items into my backpack and make it all nice and neat, and you'll see how I do this. I'm going to delete the word empty, so backspace, all the way to the K, do not leave a space. And everything that I want in my backpack, I'm going to put location of backpack over here. So if I type capital B, it's going to autofill backpack. The amulet is actually my holy symbol. So I'm going to change the word amulet to holy symbol. I'm going to wear it on my neck because my particular holy symbol is on like a necklace. Some people have theirs on their shield, or they can have them on different places. But that's where I'm doing my holy symbol. Okay, so holy symbol on, on the neck, not necklace. Location, neck. Okay. There's also two different symbols here. This is the held symbol, and you'll see the battle axe is equipped. Equipped means has the symbol of a shirt. We don't want to put our battle axe in our backpack, but we do want to put our blanket, our candles, our sensor. Don't want to put the chainmail. We're wearing it. Clothes, vestments, dragon chest, incense. Don't want to put the javelins, potions, rations, scroll. We have the shield equipped, signet ring, tinderbox, and water skin. Now you'll see when I go back up to backpack, it automatically puts everything indented and it looks all nice and neat. I like a nice, neat inventory list. And then everything that isn't equipped, or in the case of the purse, is being carried, but I don't have it in the backpack. So this tab is done. Now we can move on to the notes tab. Now remember I said that I would leave the Noble Knight saved because here is where I'm going to want to use this again. This I call my role-playing tab, and that's because everything that you put on this particular tab is going to be used to role-play your character. I'm going to clear this so that when I roll these tables and the result comes into the chat window, it won't be so hard to see. So on this sheet, on this tab, you would put your gender, your age, your height, your weight, your alignment, and your deity. And now we're going to fill in the personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. And there are 3 ways that you could do this. 1, you could roll just like I'm going to do and take a random roll and just put in whatever it comes up to, like this. Or I could instead go to one of these and say that I like this particular one. And the way that I'm choosing this is I'm left clicking on the text, and then you could drag it over here and then just release your finger and you would get the effect. The choice that you make would be inserted into your sheet. But I'm going to take what they gave me. The third way to add your traits, bonds, ideals, and flaws is to just type whatever. You can make up your own wording. Whoops, roll. Didn't need to drag it actually. And I'm going to close that. And this is my ideals. My bond. I'm going to do the same thing. Roll. And drag. And flaws. Roll. and drag. Okay, so now my role-playing tab, what I call it, is finished, other than whatever you would fill in up here on your own. Then you would, if you want to say what you look like, you would type that in the appearance, and under notes is where you would put your backstory. If you come up with the backstory, where you came from, how did you become a noble knight? Well, probably because you were a noble. And how did you decide to be a paladin, etc. This is just your role-playing information. The next tab is the log, and this is used if you play in Adventure League games. You would have a DCI number and a faction, and then you would just type in your adventures down here. We're not doing that, so I'm just showing you that tab. The final tab is the Actions tab. And I'm going to be making separate areas for different types of information. To do that, I'm going to click on Edit, click on the Add Power, and you'll see it added a power down here. I already have this one here. I'm going to be needing several of these, so I'm going to make, oh, darn it. Well, I think I better just do the ones that I have while I have them. First thing, I'm going to put in standard actions. And when I move off of this particular area into a different square, it leaves, it now titles this as standard actions. Then I want to call one racial traits. I want to call one class traits. And then I'm going to make a final one for consumables. And this one I will do now. The things that I want to track, darn, did not mean to do that. Class traits, consumables. Okay, consumables. There, okay. I want to track my rations. I want to track my water skin. I'm going to be adding 2 more. I need to track my candles because that's my light source. And I need to track the healing potions that I added in. Put them on the top. Now the reason I added these is to show you how to add functionality to your healing potions. And that is, when you use them, it's actually going to give you your 2d4 plus 2 when you go to heal someone, either yourself or someone else. And to do this, I'm hovering over the healing potions text. I'm going to right click. It's going to bring up this radial menu. I'm going to pick this one, this arrow. It says add action. So left click on the arrow. And then I want to left click on heal. And you will see that it added a separate line for me to tell it how much the healing potions will be doing. We open that up with the hourglass, and we need to tell it 2d4. Well, darn it. I hate it when it does that. There. I like it to be blank so things look easier. Okay, so I want 2d4. I'm going to left click on the 4-sided dice, and I'm going to right click one time to get 2 dice. Every time you right click, you get an extra dice. We need 2d4. I'm going to drag this over to the tab, and it inserts the dice here, and then we need it to be 2d4 plus 2. So in the bonus, I'm going to type the number 2. Now I can close this, and you can see that it is now showing that a healing potion will do 2d4 plus 2. So the next thing I want to do is I want to edit again. And here where it says standards, I want to change it to preparation. And here I want to change it to actions. Now, in our consumables, you'll see that they're set up to be daily, but we want to set them up to be once because these are once used. Once, once, once. Now I have to tell it how many of each item that I have. I remember that I have 5 candles. I know that I have 2 healing potions. I know that I have 2 rations. And I have 1 water skin. And now when you change this from preparation back to combat, it will show you, it will have these little circles that you could tick off. When you use the candle, you would click it off. And then it does not deduct anything from your inventory. This is only a way of tracking what you have and where you will know when you need to buy some more rations, healing potions, and candles, and when you need to fill up your water skin again. Now, racial traits. Let me go back to standard. And I'm going to be adding the racial traits next. I want to open the spell list because the rub to spell effects, the class effects, race effects, and spell effects are all listed in the spell category. Now, for racial traits, because it's race, I'm going to click in source and I'm going to find the elf. And it shows that I have Fae ancestry. And I'm going to be dragging the Fae ancestry into my racial trait. And the second thing that I get as an Eladrin elf, that's my subclass, well, it's the Fae step. But as you remember, the reason I'm not picking this particular version is it just says that I can cast Misty Step. I want to have the actual Misty Step coding, so I'm going to change this back to all options. I'm going to type Misty here, and here is the Misty Step spell. And the reason I want this instead of just where it tells me, oh, you can cast Misty Step, is because this tells you exactly how the Misty Step works. It tells you it's a level 2 spell. It's a bonus action. That's what the B stands for. And S means you do it to yourself. This tells you you teleport 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag this into my racial traits. Now, I'm going to delete the placeholder because I'm finished adding race traits. And I'm going to click the hourglass so that my items only take up 1 space. Now, you see that this doesn't have a hourglass on it because there is no coding. Basically, when you use the spell, you're just going to say, okay, I Misty Step 2, and then you're going to show on the map where you would be moving to, and the DM will move your token. Or you can move your own token, and he can approve your move. He or she can approve your move. Okay, so we have our racial traits done. And I've got class traits. That will take a little longer. I'm going to do actions. So up here in this top box, I'm going to type the word actions. And I'm going to drag into my standard actions tab, or standard actions section, the dodge, the help, the hide, and the ready. Okay, and I'm going to delete the space holder up here. Close that. And I'm going to click on my hourglasses so that everything just takes up 1 line. Okay, so my standard actions are now set. The final thing that I'm going to want to do is my class effects. Oh, let me get rid of Fey Ancestry because I did that and I did the Fey trait. All of these tabs here are going to go in the class traits. To do that, I'm going to go to Paladin under Source. And I'm going to be looking for these two features, which is Champion Challenge and Turn the Tide. So let's type Champion and drag this into the class traits. And I need Turn the Tide. That's put up there. Okay, that was these two. Now I need all my divines. I've got Divine Health. I've got Divine Sense. I've got Divine Smite. And then we have this fighting style. I'm going to type the word fight. And it has the coding for protection. And that's done. And I can also lay on hands, so I'm going to type the word lay. Drag that over. And then finally, because I'm level 3, I have these two spells here. I have command, so I scroll down here and get the command spell. And I have compelled duel. I'm going to grab the compelled duel. And now I'm going to open this again. I'm going to delete this extra space holder. Close that. And then I'm going to click on all my hourglasses so everything takes up just one line. Well, this is going to take up more because of being a little longer. It just reduces the width of my sheet. Okay, so now I have all my class traits. And you may wonder what these additional markings are. 60 means this command spell is good up to 60 feet. 30 means this compelled duel is something that's affected by 30 feet. The B is a bonus action. The C means it's a concentration spell, which is important because when you're using a concentration spell, if you cast another concentration spell, the first concentration spell is then you stop concentrating on that and you start concentrating on the new spell. This is 30 feet. This is 60 feet. This R is a reaction, and this means in this protection, this coding for the protection means it gives disadvantage on attack for if someone attacks someone within 5 feet of you, you can give that creature disadvantage on attack when they go to attack this other person. And you would drag this effect onto the opponent. So we'll close that. Lay on hands is T, which means it's a touch spell. You have to be able to touch the person. You can't just say, oh, somebody way across the room, I'm laying on hands. You actually have to lay on hands. And Turn the Tide is another bonus action, and it's 30 feet. Okay, so those are those traits. And then the final thing says I get 3 first level spells. Now remember, I already have 2 spells. I have Compelled Duel and Command. Do not want to take those as my spells for first level. wait, I'm going to go back up here again because I'm going to drag them here and they're going to put them in a new category saying spells level 1. Now on my spells, since I want level 1 spells, I'm already on Paladin. I'm going to change the level to 1 and it's going to give me the options of what I want to use. And I've already got like the Divine Favor. I think I'm going to take Shield of Faith because it looks good. I could take 3. It has 3 spell slots, so I'm going to have 3. I'm going to take Protection from Good and Evil. And then I'm going to take let's see, what am I going to take? Let's do Heroism. That looks good. Okay, so you saw me drag them up there. And if I scroll down here, you will see that they added a spells level 1. I'm going to click the hourglass so that everything's just on one line. And these are the 3 spells that I can cast at level 1. Okay, so my sheet is complete. I have everything on here. I could close that down. I finished that. And I am complete. And I appreciate your viewership, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any additional questions regarding what I did, or would like to suggest that I have a topic, a video on a specific topic, please use the comments section to let me know. And I hope you have a good day, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.